I am glad for it. Glad for anybody that can join us today. And I'm already going to apologize for my poor shot quality. I could not get my camera at all to be where it was last time. I don't know why, so I'm trying a new perspective. I will turn things around as needed. I mean, most of this is just me reading anyway. Ooh. Let me know if the music's too loud, too soft. It's just supposed to be there to be in the background. But anyway, I'd like to get started. As we remember last time, what am I remembering from last time? Oh yeah, okay, so we were helping yes, it is Moiter time. We were helping Mrs. Kent find her son, who has been lost somewhere in the town of Burkittsville. And we did find out that he was hanging out over, can you, hold on. Let me bring the camera back in. Right, Shaw? In the Historical Society. In the basement of the Historical Society. We had that nice little, audio at the end there. And I already did open the box earlier, the second one, just to make sure everything was in it, but I'm still going to actually open it with you guys, too. We can find him together. I wrote the 2 on here. That was for me. So I could remember which, because the boxes look identical, and I actually need to take these out of the boxes. Anyway. And I'm going to set the box aside so you all won't accidentally see my address. Go away, box. Okay. So this time we got, and I kept a couple of things from last time out, like the notebook from Liam, the pen in case we needed to get, even though I'll have to go like in a corner or turn off shit because I've got so much light coming in here so that I can get a better shot. And then I kept the map out because I figured we would need the map. Ooh. I had a little blip and I'm very sorry. I think it's back now. Yes, it's back. Okay. So, but I kept those out and I also have... Did it flip again? I'm also still wearing the tooth from before. It actually... somewhere. It actually has not, like, rubbed off or anything. It seems to be made out of pewter, so it's been fine. But this month, this month we got our letter from Mrs. Kent. Let's see, Burkittsville History Museum Incident Reports. Burkittsville History Museum feedback form. Let's see, got a little pamphlet from the Historical Museum. Got a handwritten letter, and it looks like, I don't know if you guys can see this really well. Let me see. I can do this. I can do this. Oh, actually, this actually works better than last time. But if you guys can see it, there's a new cipher on here. At least I assume that's what that is. And I think that was in the book. I will look again when I will close the blinds because I think that was in... There was a cipher, if I remember right, in this page of the book. So we will look at it and I will close the blinds in a little bit. Handwritten letter. Okay, another letter, which I'm going to assume also has... Yeah, we'll close the blinds and we'll see if it's got written stuff on it too. But it's got more of that cipher on it. See? Okay, this actually might... This view might actually... I'll have to turn stuff around, but this view might actually work a little bit better than last time. And then... Got this South Woodland Academy pencil bag. Which actually, this pencil bag feels like it's made out of nice material. Like this is like one of the ones that I get made for my stuff. And then it came with this figure. I think it's supposed to be in game or whatever. It's supposed to be wood. But it's made out of more of an acrylic, which is fine. It still feels very thick and feels very resistant, so works for me. Yeah, it's kind of neat. So I may actually end up using that because it's actually decent quality. Alright, so let's get started. And first things first is we are going to read the letter from Mrs. Kent. So, Detective. After going so long without any leads, finding Liam's things in the basement of the History Museum has filled me with so much hope and so much fear in equal measure. As wonderful as it is to have found something of his, I can barely bring myself to look at the second set of handwriting that's scrawled all over his papers. Who was talking to Liam down there, and what the hell did they say to him? It's nauseating to think about my son down in the cold and the dark, being fed poison by some manipulative creep. When I was in that basement, something felt wrong about that place to me. I felt like I was being watched the entire time, and when I went to pick up Liam's things, I swear that I felt something on the back of my neck. Almost like a hand brushing against me. There was nobody there when I turned around, of course, but it almost gave me a heart attack. Once I pulled myself together, I showed the sheriff everything you helped me find, but just like every other time I've tried to get him to do his damn job over the past few months, Lanning told me the evidence wasn't sufficient to justify putting some resources into Liam's case. Not only has the sheriff flat out refused to start organizing any more search parties to comb through the forest, he didn't even process anything from the basement as evidence. He left everything I found with me. He told me to be thankful to have a few new mementos of my son, some things that I could keep close. If he thinks I'm going to sit back and let this happen, he's got another thing coming. I'm sending you everything that I found down there and more. Try to pay special attention to the notes with these symbols on them. When I say that they're strange, I don't mean that because I can't make heads or tails of them. Whenever I try to look at them for too long, I feel a sharp pain in my temples and something happens to my vision. The symbols start to look as though they're moving, crawling around the page like insects. I don't know how to explain it. I guess I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping well. Hopefully you'll have more luck with them than I did. The notes aren't all of what was down there, though. There was something in Liam's pencil case, something that I think you need to see for yourself. There was also something from Hudson in that basement. I have no idea how it found its way down there, no idea at all, but reading it was like a punch to the gut. I also asked Anthony if anything strange had been happening at the museum recently. He made me promise that I wouldn't call him crazy and then give me a few reports of odd incidents from the weeks before Liam went missing. He didn't show them to Lanning during the initial investigation because he knew that the sheriff is even less open to suggestions of the supernatural than I am. To be clear, I'm still extremely leery of the notion, but I can't ignore any possible explanation at this point. At the end of the day, among all of this strangeness, we know two things for sure. Someone was talking to my son in that basement, and we need to find out who it was. I need you to find the name of the person Liam was talking to and send it to me through the tip line at kintcase.com. I've updated the password to ensure that all of this new information stays secure. The new password is quietly5. We finally got a concrete lead. Let's make the most of it. Drop the alert in a few minutes. He doesn't. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have fun with whatever you're doing. Yes. He is an asshat. I don't like the cop that much, and I'm waiting to find out more about that. Okay, so, and again, it gives us the, what we have to do. I actually like that it gives you a definitive thing, what you need to do to solve the episode. So I'm gonna do this stuff last, because I'm gonna have to close the blinds and everything. So let's go over the incident reports first. Oh, and there's more of that, so I guess we'll be reading it. So, I think there's 2 incident reports. Okay. So, filer, Anthony, Repino, description of individual, not available, description of incident. Late last night at around 9:15, I began to hear what sounded like a voice coming from the basement. I was the only staff member on duty. I'd already made sure the building was clear of patrons, and I'm always sure to keep the door to the basement firmly locked. As soon as I managed to convince myself that I had imagined the voice the first time, I heard it again. This time, I could swear that it said my name. I called out back to it, saying something along the lines of, "Who's there? The museum is closed. You need to leave." I received no response for a long moment, but then I heard what was clearly the sound of laughter echoing from the basement. At that point, because I was feeling more than a little spooked, I grabbed the heaviest object on my desk as a potential weapon. It was a volume of the encyclopedia. Then I followed the ominous noise to the basement door. When I reached the locked door, I could clearly hear someone or something moving around mere inches behind it. There was a slow scratching noise, like metal on wood, but when I opened the door, all I could see was the empty stairwell leading down into pitch darkness. Then I heard the footsteps and shuffling coming from somewhere inside the darkness. I loudly announced the museum was closed again, that anyone present would have to leave immediately, and that I was about to call the sheriff. There was no reply, but the sound of footsteps continued and started to head up the stairs and towards me. That's when I chucked the encyclopedia down the stairs as hard as I could, slammed the basement door shut, and locked it. Then I phoned the sheriff's office. Deputy Weathers was dispatched and arrived less than 5 minutes later. He looked around the office, declared that there was nothing there, and made a frankly disparaging comment about my masculinity before leaving. It was only after Deputy Weathers left that when I reluctantly went to retrieve the damaged encyclopedia that I noticed the below symbols carved into a section of the topmost basement stair. I photographed the evidence and promptly left the building. I'm attaching a photo of the carvings I found as evidence. Yeah, the book was a weapon. Oh, get foods! Foods is always good to have. And also good to retrieve your mother, I guess. Alright, let's see. I only got a quick glimpse of the individual from behind. It was a male around 6'2" in height. It was difficult to tell because he was slouching very heavily. He was wearing a long, filthy coat and mud-stained boots. He moved with a lopping gait. About 2 hours ago, at around 10 p.m., I witnessed an unknown individual trespassing in the museum. I was searching through the attic storage section, looking for anything that we might want to include in the upcoming Civil War in Burkittsville exhibit, when I felt something strange happen. The air in the room seemed to become drastically colder all of a sudden, and I was overcome with a sinking feeling that I wasn't alone. Then I turned around and I saw that, in fact, there was someone crouching down about 5 feet away from me, rifling through a storage cabinet. His back was turned to me, but I gasped loudly when I saw him, and it was clear from his body language that he knew I was there. When the stranger heard me gasp, he slowly stood up. Then he just walked away, not turning around or acknowledging me at all. He climbed down the attic stairs, and fearing for my safety and frankly unable to move, I made 0 attempts to pursue him. I huddled in a corner of the attic, clutching an antique bayonet, called the sheriff's office, and remained where I sat until Deputy Weathers arrived. Weathers searched the museum up and down 3 times alongside me, but we didn't find any evidence of the man I had seen. We also didn't find any sign of breaking and entering. All possible entrances to the museum were locked when we searched them. Deputy Weathers then had the nerve to threaten to write me up for wasting police resources. After Weathers left, I went to check on the storage cabinet that the intruder had been looking through. It's mostly dedicated to oral transcriptions of 19th and 20th century folktales, but also contains a few samples of jewelry and other apparel from the time period. After cross-referencing the cabinet's contents with our inventory, I can confirm that nothing was stolen from the cabinet. However, it appears that one item has been added to. It appears to be a talisman made from sticks and twine shaped roughly like a human figure. Objects like this have actually appeared around town close to the time of an unexpected death or disappearance. I'm going to go home now, and I'm going to take a personal day tomorrow. So he's talking about the Blair Witch sign that we always see. You can't stop shaking it. I like the sound that shaker makes. It actually makes a really good sound. The only thing I wish I had done different is I wish I'd put some glitter in it. But other than that, I love that shaker. And I don't know if it was a person or if it might have been, oh my god, what was that one guy? The guy who stole the kids for the witch back in like the 1900s. Might be a ghost. Don't know. Let's see. Feedback forum. Form. Oh my god. So, my family drove out to your museum from 3 counties over after seeing the glowing write-up of your establishment in Untold Tales magazine, thinking we'd have a nice weekend outing and learn something along the way. Well, we were waylaid by some car trouble that stalled us by a few hours. A tire blew out as we were driving down the road that goes along the edge of the forest, and it took me a long time to install the spare we keep in our trunk. And we still arrived with ample time to take a quick look through the museum, or so we thought. Per the information listed directly outside of the building itself, we arrived 1 full hour before closing. Why then was the building already locked at that time? Why was I forced to explain to my 2 temperamental children that it was time to turn around and go all the way back home? To make matters worse, as I knocked on the door to the building, I saw an employee standing not 10 feet away from us. He was facing away from me, hunched over a book or something, but he straightened up as soon as I knocked on the door, so he obviously heard me. However, he didn't even turn around. He just calmly walked away through some door without even acknowledging our presence. I have never witnessed such baffling rudeness in my entire life. I'm going to leave your establishment a scathing review on 5 Square, and I will never take my family to the saddest use for a town again. What the hell, Anthony? This was filed on Saturday. Unacceptable behavior. I put up with your eccentricities for a long time, but if they're going to start negatively affecting guest relations, then I'll have no choice but to throw the book at you, so to speak. See me in my office as soon as you get in. Rosie, this complaint was filed by a museum guest exactly 1 week before Liam went missing. I don't know who it was those people say they saw that day, but it wasn't me. It couldn't have been. I've been closing the museum 2 hours early every Saturday for the past 6 months. I'm a member of this historical reenactment band, and it's the only time people are willing to practice. I play bugle for the Union Army. It's a stupid reason to cut work, but nobody ever noticed until now because I'm the only employee on duty on Saturdays, and because museum attendance is so low across the board. The entire place was locked when they saw this man, whoever he was, and none of our alarms were tripped at any point that day. He shouldn't have been able to get inside. He shouldn't have been there, but they saw him clear as day. Up until now, it was just me that was witnessing this kind of presence in the building, but this proves that I'm not just seeing things. I didn't tell Joseph or the sheriff about any of this because I was already in enough trouble as it was. I can't afford to lose this job. It was stupid of me to stay quiet. I'm so sorry. I hope you can forgive me. Okay. Have fun. That's not the worst. That was not the worst experience that you could definitely have. Also, I'm sorry, if an employee isn't paying attention to me even before it's closed, I'm just going to assume that they had to close early. I'm not going to be, if it's locked, I'm just not going to be a douchebag about it. Okay, so this is the Burkittsville History Museum, newly renovated, open for business. And it's closed on Mondays. Okay. That's what it looks like. Okay. So, see the forest for the trees. Burkittsville, Maryland has a rich history. The Battle of Burkittsville saw a tactical win for the Union soldiers during the Civil War, and several of the buildings on Main Street have stood where they stand for centuries. And of course, what Burkittsville is chiefly known for is our local folklore. Legend has it that an old witch resides in our Black Wales forest, cursing those who set foot into our woods. Is she real? Oh, I can actually already see some of the new cipher. Many believers and skeptics alike have taken the pilgrimage to fair Burkittsville to ask this very question. While you'll find a wide range of answers along with those who live and work in Burkittsville, history tells us that the earliest residents of this area certainly believed in her. Where Burkittsville now sits was once a town known as Blair, although the town's residents fled the area in the late 1700s. It wasn't until 1824 that Burkittsville was officially chartered, and the rest, as they say, is history. If you're trying to find the truth behind all of the stories, you need to visit the Burkittsville History Museum. User Chili Chrissy on 5Square. Local flavor. Do you fear the Blair Witch? Well, rather than go hiking through her woods, come enjoy our collected writings on some of her most infamous haunts. The Burkittsville History Museum boasts the largest collection of material relating to life and historical Blair, as well as the art and craftsmanship of its residents. Take some pictures of the artifacts we've discovered in the woods to remember your trip. The Burkittsville History Museum staff was friendly, knowledgeable, and gave me tons of stories to share with my friends. User Call Me Dr. Pritchard on 5Square. Local events. The Burkittsville History Museum is the proud sponsor of many local events. Our fair town is bursting with fun activities and public events, many free of charge. Whether you want to learn more about the rich history of Burkittsville or you have a story to share, there's an event for you. Presentation. The Battle of Burkittsville, a not-so-civil war. First Monday of every month, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Meet outside Burkittsville History Museum. Guided tours of Old Blair, Tuesday through Thursday, 12 to 1 and 6 to 7. Meet outside Burkittsville Town Hall. Open mic. This is really happening. Every second and fourth Wednesday, 6 through 8 p.m., the Silver Moon Diner. Presentation, The Real Story of the Blair Witch. Last Monday of every month, 8 to 10 p.m., $10 online, $15 at the door. Meet outside Burkittsville History Museum. Historical reenactments. The past comes to life. Run by the Greater Frederick County Historical Preservation Society. Saturdays 4 through 6, the Fairgrounds Field 2, weather permitting. Book your private event at the Burkittsville History Museum. Man. They made a nice little spread of that. I love this picture right here. Fake Blair Witch. So funny. Okay. About us. Look at these creepy fucking dolls. Ah! The Burkittsville History Museum is one of the oldest and proudest institutions in our historical community, dedicated to collecting historical texts, land records, regional folklore, and more. A recent fire threatened this historical building, but we're proud to have renovated the Burkittsville History Museum, ensuring the architecture remains faithful to even the earliest documented incarnations of the building. Have you seen her? The Burkittsville History Museum wants to hear any stories you have to share. Drop us a line or join us at one of our open mic events. Serious reports only. And it's just got she's deposing to assert her dominance. And I'm gonna go ahead and stand up for a second and close my blinds and close my door. Hopefully get it a little darker in here. Try not to hit the tripod. One day I'll have a better setup when we, move. I don't think I closed that right. Hold on. I still hit the tripod. And last but not least, turn that off. We can still kind of see, but I should be able to see a little bit better. I actually like that it gives off that much light, even when we turn off all that stuff. Need my freaking blinds to settle. Okay, so I'm gonna read this guy first. Once I get the sunspots out of my eyes, oh my god. It's strange to think that this may be the last time I come this far out into the forest, after spending my entire youth running around this place with an abandon that frankly bordered on stupidity. Guess that's what happens when there's nobody at home who cares enough to keep tabs on you, and a tiny part of you wants to trip into the creek and hit your head on a rock just to show them that they should have. Nevertheless, in a few short weeks, I'm going to be a father. I've got my own family to think about, and being a father means developing a sense of self-preservation for your kid's sake, if not your own. So this is my goodbye to a place that's been very important to me for many years. Hopefully, once I've got what I have to say off my chest and leave this letter behind me, I can close out this chapter of my life for good. Ever since I found this place as a teenager, I knew there was something special about it. Special doesn't mean safe, of course, but it does mean fascinating, especially for a precocious and impulsive kid. I stumbled on this strange little hollow by total chance, after I'd gotten into some knockdown, drag-out fight with my mother and run away from home with nothing but a few quarters and an empty lighter in my pockets. The first thing that struck me when I walked in was that outside sound didn't seem to penetrate the hollow at all. No cracking twigs or rustling leaves, only the sound of my own breath. And the second thing that struck me was a thing at the center of the place. The twisted, hollow stump of a tree that barked as white as maggots. I remember Anthony talking about the Blair Witch being tied to a twisted white tree. And then we've got some cipher stuff. I went over to get a closer look, and when I put my hand on the bark, it was colder than I expected it to be. Then I felt a sharp pain in my palm. I managed to get the most wicked splinter imaginable, and I ended up bleeding all over the tree as well as myself. I started to feel numb and lightheaded, and I left. I got home right before sunset. That's one local taboo that I've never once broken and that I never will break. Knowing about all the people who'd gone missing after staying out too long was enough to make me make that concession at least. I used to go out to the hollow a few times a week, always in the daytime. I'd write in my journal and while away the hours, which seemed to pass in a matter of minutes out there. One time in the hollow, I wrote a note that I never intended to send to a girl who I knew was miles out of my league. I couldn't bring myself to throw it out or destroy it, but I was too mortified to keep it anywhere that another living soul might be able to find it. So I shoved it into a very back of the hollow hole of this tree. I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I still couldn't help but feel as though it did. For a short time after, this was our spot. Her house wasn't the happiest place to be at the time, what with Jess staying over to deal with her whole ex-husband situation. I dare Rosemary to go and find the note that I wrote for her, and she'd find them and leave some of her own for me. I thought that if neither of us had a place to be happy on our own, I could make a place for us to be happy together from scratch. Maybe it was naive of me to think that there was any place for joy in the forest after all the tragedy that's taken place here. Rosemary certainly started to think so after a while anyway. But even though she hasn't come out here since high school, I've still visited several times. I still visited sometimes just to look at the remnants of our old love notes, or to occasionally squirrel away something new into the tree's hollow. I always liked the image of paper, the pulp of a dissected tree, being buried within a tree that was dead in itself. I like the thought of Rosemary's and my love notes returning to the earth while our bodies are still out in the real world alive. But the recurring nightmare that I've started to have about this place lately has been enough to scare even me away. Almost every night I dreamt that I'm buried underneath that stump, to try to claw my way up, but I never make it to the surface. Ever since I've started having that dream, I've felt as stronger than ever before. Either way, I have a strange feeling that, and more cipher, I'm still going to have to go into the forest sometimes for my livelihood. After all, I've got a family now, and they're going to depend on me for a long time. But I can be careful. I'll keep leaving before sunset. I'll never ever bring any of this up to Rosemary. She shouldn't have to worry about it, not when she's going to have a new child on her hands so soon. So, and that was, I think, if I remember right, Rosemary did say that this was the dad's handwriting. The dad's been dead for like 4 years, something like that. It's been a while. And this is... I know you're out there. I see you in the forest all the time. This one's actually from Liam. I see you all the time. And I bet that you're watching me leave this note for you right now. Who are you? Come on, this note's been on the path for days. There's no way you haven't seen it. Answer me or I'll call the cops and tell them there's a weird man following me. Answer or I'll stop coming out into the woods. What does that mean? And more ciphers. Okay, so that took me forever to work out, but I think I get it now. I think he was, or at least I hope so. You know, I thought you were Kim at first. I'd see you in the forest, out near where it happened, and I'd think about all the stories there are about this place. There's tons of evidence that time and space don't work out here like they do everywhere else. Even my dad would say so sometimes. Plus, I mean, if people can vanish so easily in the forest without any explanation, why shouldn't they be able to reappear too? They almost never find bodies when people go missing, even when they search for months and months. I figured that might mean that people who die in the forest don't really die. I guess I was wrong, though. That's a very interesting theory, Liam. I wouldn't be so quick to discount it. This is someone else's handwriting. You know my name. Does it frighten you that I do? I mean, yes, but at the same time, you've had about 1 million chances to attack me or murder me or whatever since I've come out here alone pretty much every day for the past few years. You haven't done any of those things, though, which makes me think you might not be out to get me. But what are you doing then? What are you? I'm more of an absence than a presence. And then more cipher. You're not the Blair witch. Then more cipher. Sometimes I kind of go numb and then just sort of act without thinking. Other times I thought pops into my head that feels like it's not even mine. Is that her? It happens the most often when I'm out walking in the forest. More cipher. How long have you been out here? As you said, time works differently in the forest. How did you get that? That note was written before I was born. It should be nothing but pulp by now. So I guess whoever this was brought him his dad's journal. As you said, time works different in the forest. It really does. Things that should be gone are still out there. You know, I heard your mother the other night. Your house is close enough to the forest edge for me to listen in. She sent you to your room like a child, all because you spoke your mind. She doesn't like when I talk about him like he's still alive. She says it's unhealthy. She doesn't get that the real unhealthy behavior would be to give up on him if there's any chance he's still out there. Is my dad out in the woods? Please just tell me. You know, he wasn't able to finish his last words to you before he choked on his own blood. But what he wanted to say was, thank God that you're all right. How do you know that? I'm connected to this place and everything in it. Okay, fine. Please help me find him. I'll do anything. I require no payment besides the satisfaction of reuniting a family whenever you're ready. So who the fuck is this? So let's see if I can read that cipher. I might still have to move. I know I saw it before. Maybe it's fun. The first cipher. I'll be back in frame in just a second. Okay. That cipher is actually not in here. So yeah, it looks like it's more than the witch going on with this. So now I gotta figure out how to do this cipher though. He doesn't look like he used the UV for these notes. I'm not exactly surprised about. I know it's not gonna be on here really. Yeah. It might be. I don't think that's what it is though. I was right about. See if you can see it. I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can. There is some in here in the pamphlet. Oh shit, there's a whole lot in here. Oh, and there's the Blair Witch symbol, of course. I gotta decipher this first, though. Ooh, this is dirty. Okay. So they've actually got some interesting hidden notes on this one. Would be able to be sure. Oh, I need to get a stronger light. Okay, it shows up much better on here. Alright. Double checking it's on any other paper. I don't think it would be, just double checking. Okay. So let's Alright, I'm trying. This is gonna be a fun cipher to do on our own here. Okay. So I think made sure that this page was blank of any of the UV. I need to finish translating the UV. It's just really, this book is hard to get the UV in. Like everything else was easy. For some reason, the paper does not read the UV right. So it's a little rough. Okay. So I'm going to go with, because this has an apostrophe in it. This first part is two letters and has an apostrophe. I'm going with that's ein, because that makes the most sense. That's the only contraction that I can think of that's like that. So that means this is I. This is M. Okay. Now we can get it any other. It's also seeing what all letters are separate too. That's for another single letter. Also, oh shit, okay. Now this cipher that's here is not the same cipher that's on these pages. This is a different cipher. The cipher that's here is actually, now that I'm looking at it, is the one from the notebook. It is actually the one from the notebook. Hold on. This is a different one. Let me write down this one. I'm gonna have like, if you're just going with how it's been working so far, I'm gonna have like 5 ciphers by the end of this. How many more ciphers are they gonna give us? I need to write down the other one. I've got it in another book. Okay. It's 2 minutes. Yeah, and you're having to keep up with them and which one's which. Okay. So, the cipher that's on the dad's pages, if you look at, see where it has the A right here? So, I know you can't see it, but it actually, oh, I'm gonna have to do it this way. Okay. So, this one's actually kind of unique. Because it goes by this tic-tac-toe, right? 2 is bad enough. Technically, we've got 3 right now. So it goes by this tic-tac-toe. So does that mean that's B? That has to be B. B. So I'm going by the lines that are around it. Do it at an angle, God. Then G, H. This one's actually a little bit easier. It's gonna take a moment to write it all down. And okay, this is the same but with dots. Yep. This is one that actually isn't that bad. They need a new trick. I kind of agree they need a new trick. but it's not that bad. So the way this one works is writing it down real quick. Okay. So the way this one works is... There we go. Okay, see the tic-tac-toe board? It's got A, B, C, and you basically do it with the lines that are corresponding. So the A looks like the corner taken out of it. And then he did it again with little dots in it to make the next set of letters. And then when it got to S, he made this little cross thing. And again, you just used the lines to make it. And then did the little dots for the other four. So that one actually was not that bad. So that means that translating the dads is not going to be too hard. Again, I just want to make sure there are no UVs. There's no reason for there to be, but just to double check. I want to make sure. I'm actually waiting for like a random page in the... How are we doing? We're having to find out new ciphers. So it's gonna be we've found one cipher because we were given it. Yeah. We are now up to 3 ciphers. Seeing how quickly I can do this one. This one isn't bad. But there's 2 ciphers. There's one in the dad's letter, and then there's one in the letters that Liam was sharing. And I will... Give me a moment on that one. Felt in my gut. My issue with it is that the first time is neat and novel, but the tedium increases exponentially every time you do the same, which, yeah, I feel the same way too. Like, if there was, because I already knew there was 2 because there was the second one in this notebook, and I was fine with doing that one, but now I've got another one I've got to do. It's like, you're giving me 2, and I think that's just going to be the gimmick of this, and I need to just be okay with that. Let's see. I remember Anthony talking about the Blair Witch being tied to a twisted white tree. I felt in my gut that this was the same one. That's what that says. I hope that it's not, I don't want to get any more. I hope that there are not more after this. You know? I know this is gonna be rosemary. At least this one is relatively. This one's not that bad once you get a few kind of memorized. Rosemary asked me to get. Say it's a mystery and suddenly follow up with oops, all ciphers. Yeah, that's what I said. As I hope it's not after this. I really hope this is it for the ciphers. So let's see. So I shoved it to the very back of the hollow hole of the tree. Rosemary asked me to get dinner with her at the Silver Moon the very next day. You have to I just hope I have to reuse, but so far I am not reusing any of them. These are all the same ciphers. And I need to figure out this main one. It doesn't. Please. I'm just assuming there. I should not do that. Trying to go as quick as I can on this one. Then like, give us the topic of logic puzzles, not beat the pattern. Yeah. God. I mean, it almost feels like I love logic puzzles. It almost feels like they just couldn't think of anything else. Let's see. Like the thought of Rosemary's mind. Love notes returning to the earth while our bodies are still out in the real world alive. Death doesn't always mean finality, not when love remains. Oh, this guy was a romantic sap. How nice. How did he have this? This must have been the cipher that his dad taught him, because he was talking, like, that was... I assume that's cool. He was talking about the last time that his dad, him and his dad wrote stuff to each other. I felt a stronger pull to the forest than ever before. How many boxes are there? I can't remember if it's 6 or 8. And I hope the next box. Okay. Thank you for the lurk. Yeah, they needed the filler. I still think it's like 6 or 8. I want to say it's 6 or 8. Okay, so ever since I've started having that dream, I felt a stronger pull to the forest than ever before. Was I ever going out there of my own free will at all? And then the last one is... Ever. Oh, visit. Why am I? Buy or visit. Sorry, that took me a second there. Okay, so this was either way, I have a strong feeling that if I ever visit the Hollow again, I'm not going to be able to come back. So he had that dark sense and foreboding feeling. He knew. Alright, so I'm guessing that solving the cipher is what's going to tell me who this person is that Liam was talking to. So I have to solve this fucking cipher. That on the front of, oh my god. Oh, I'm not looking forward to doing this. Hold on. Sorry about this one being kind of more of a boring one. Really didn't think they were gonna have me solving more fucking ciphers. Oh, good. I might put to sleep. It's kind of silly. Happy about this. Doesn't help I can't always tell where some of the letters are separated out. Like, they don't make that clear. They did that with the last time too. Some of the letters weren't clear, but were very clear. I'm sorry about this one. Most of my time is gonna be spent figuring out this fucking cipher. This is how they wanted you to keep on it for a moment. I don't like this. Oh. Need a second. Need to breathe for a moment. Only being stuck like this, that's all. That's fair. Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, like, I don't think you're supposed to be like, doing them with friends or whatever. Okay. I think this is actually supposed to be my clue. Because I know that this second letter here is an I. And I'm wondering if it just says Liam, because I've seen this third letter on here constantly by itself, which is A. It has to be A. You use A that many times. So I'm guessing that this says Liam. So that will give me, hopefully, a fucking start. Oh, it's supposed to be a box over there. So that's something, I guess. It's not a whole lot. Yeah. Yeah, it would have the same issue in person, you're right. Like, otherwise it would just be me by myself just pouring over and getting aggravated. I still think this is fine. I'm just gonna write on the paper. I don't care anymore. I'm over it. Not getting enough. This little? That's little. Because that makes the most sense. There's no L-I, and then it's the same letters twice, L something. Yeah, that's gotta be little. That's gotta be, okay. Okay, I can deal with this. Okay, I can do this. And E is this. See, once you get a couple of words with ciphers, they're not that bad. You just have to get that first part. I think they actually let it be this big so you could. You could kind of get it. So hopefully this will give me enough. that I can finally get a little bit further. I'm gonna use fuck all big words. You get the, if I could find something that's the, I could do a lot. So, we're getting somewhere. We are finally getting somewhere. That is it. Oh, okay, yes, okay. I'm getting, yeah. Yes, okay. Finally found the H. Oh my god, I needed the H. Yes. Okay, I can finally get this. Oh my god. Thank you for the patience. So this was the cipher crack, was this thing. So now it's writing and everything else until everything falls in line. That's what it's gonna be. Yes. I don't know how he got this from all of this. Like, I don't think this has all the letters in it. Am I winning at ciphers? I don't know yet. I'm doing my best. I think I'm getting there. I think I am actually progressing to where I might win at the ciphers. Oh my god. This is slightly stressful. I should have given more space between these letters. Oh god, okay. I just gotta figure out everything else. Oh god. Oh, I bet this is. I'm not very talkative. I bet that's what it says. I am fine. I am WinRAR. WinRAR stopped working. I bet this says I'm not very talkative. I bet that's what it says. What? That actually gives me a whole lot to work with. What? I thought that was a V from something else. Yeah, because it's over here. Very, and that gives me R, which should help a lot. So yes, we are finally winning. Excellent. So unnecessarily stressful. Okay. 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 Episode is, this is you. You already had me. How did I miss that I had in order? Oh, we've actually filled in quite a bit of the cipher now. Okay, you understand this. Nicole. Harder. Oh. Okay, we've got everything. We're missing a couple of letters, but we can easily fill that in. I'm not very talkative. Can you understand this? Come on, try a little harder. I know you can do it. Cool. Okay, we're good. We are missing a few. We're still missing a few. We're missing BFG, E, Q, X, and Z, but that's just filling in the blanks for different words. So there we go. Once we had the cipher for the cipher, we could do it. It just took a moment. That's not too bad. Okay. 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 So I'm going to translate this all, and then... Yes. I'm going to translate, and then I'll reread it. Then it'll just be filling in the blanks after this. Here's the F. This one's actually easier for me to... I did say big fucking gun. That was what... Thank you. I'm glad... Oh, I wish Pseudo was here to hear my little BFG joke. But yes, we did make a BFG. Oh, okay. So I finally got to play Doom 2016. And yes, I absolutely love it. I love it so much. I want to play more of it, and maybe I'll get to play it on stream sometime for you guys. But, oh, it was nice. I needed something. Something like that in my life. Plus... Oh. I say that's Ben. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, once you had that cipher, the rest of it's actually coming through very easily. I'm actually reading it much easier than the other cipher. Even catching up with the ones I'm missing. So now we are only missing G, Q, X, and Z. I'm also really glad to give me some room to I will admit I did look up the hint, but I was already thinking it was this, so it just confirmed it. So, but I'm actually really glad the way they set up the hints is you can actually look at it without any spoilers. It just helps you along if you need it, and I appreciate that. You getting the fuck out of bed? What are you doing, Cypress? What are you doing? Okay. I know that sounded crude. He's actually sick and has been in bed, so I'm just more checking up on him. What was I doing?
I should run and go, I should run and hide, but I'm stuck on you. You make me feel like a fire. You make me feel like a kid. You make me feel like each other. 5 galaxies swirling in Stefan's quintet. I wanna tell you how I feel tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually translating this a lot easier.
Nothing's fitting for a kind like you. I'm never speechless when the earth's my fuel. Killing the time.
Why is this one making so much more sense to me?
As we fall in love. I've never met a girl like you. Never met a girl like.
I'm actually going to blame it on the fact that I can translate characters, I guess.
Traces of your lips linger on my waist. I don't wanna go, I don't wanna wait. I'm needing you.
Instead, I'm going to reread this in
Shouldn't
a
speak
second.
of this magic. We should just say what they know. I've heard a rumor of humans who sniff out the good things to suck out the soul. I wanna tell you how I feel tonight. I keep trying, but the words ain't right. Nothing's fitting for a kind like you. I'm never
You okay?
speechless when the earth's my fuel.
Okay, baby. I love you. Go back to bed.
Each other as we fall in love. I've never met a girl like you. Never met a girl like you.
Oh, hello. Welcome back again. We are getting somewhere with the translation. Actually getting a lot. As I said, I'm actually translating this so much easier. mine for Macy's. Have you gotten it? Yes, we've gotten some. Well, we've gotten not a new lead. Just I'm translating it now. I'm actually trying to figure out how. I guess that's his name. That's what it's going. The answer's going to be. I'm doing this as fast as I can, which is this is actually going really fast. Right. Yeah. As I said, this I can translate this faster than anything else. Yeah, it's actually, I read that as Macy's, not Mackey's at first, and I was just like, I thought you were getting food, not going to Macy's. But yeah, it's actually not that bad. I like, this is probably my favorite cipher of them all, because I don't have to squint with the light. Actually, I will have to squint with the light. I'm just kidding, I'm going to have to squint with the light in a second. But I'm actually getting to the point where I may not need to write everything down. I have... Foods! Yes, foods are always good. Technically, that's what I'll be doing after the stream today. Okay. 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 We have everything, so I'm going to reread it now that we've got it all translated. So, I know you're out there. I see you in the forest all the time, and I bet that you're watching me leave these notes for you right now. Who are you? Come on. This note's been on the path for days. There's no way you haven't seen it. Answer me or I'll call the cops and tell them there's a weird man following me. Answer or I'll stop coming out into the woods. I'm not very talkative. What does that mean? Can you understand this? Come on, try a little. Try a little harder. I know you can do it. Okay, so that took me forever to work that out, but I think I get it now. Like this? Yes, that's it. Very clever. Your father must have been very proud. I think he was, or at least I hope so. You know, I thought you were him at first. I'd see you in the forest out near where it happened, and I'd think about all the stories there are about this place. There's a ton of evidence that time and space don't work out there like they do everywhere else. Even my dad would say so sometimes. Plus, I mean, if people can vanish so easily in the forest without any explanation, why shouldn't they be able to reappear too? They almost never find bodies when people go missing. Even when they search for months and months, I figured that might mean that people who die in the forest don't really die. I guess I was wrong though. That's a very interesting theory, Liam. I wouldn't be so quick to discount it. You know my name? Does it frighten you that I do? I mean, yes, but at the same time, you've had about 1 million chances to attack me or murder me or whatever since I've come out here pretty much every day for the past few years. You haven't done any of those things, though, which makes me think you might not be out to get me. But what are you doing then? What are you? I'm more of an absence than a presence. Not a witch, not a human, not a friend, not a foe, not alive nor dead. You're not the Blair Witch? No, although I hear her sometimes, I feel the compulsions she seeds into my heart. Can't you? Sometimes I kind of go numb and then just sort of act without thinking. Other times a thought pops into my head that feels like it's not even mine. Is that her? It happens the most often when I'm out walking the forest. She appears in many different ways. What's your name anyway? You can call me Carver. How long have you been out here? As you said, time works differently in the forest. Do you like my gift? I found it for you in a very old hollow. How did you get that? I have my ways. That note was written before I was born. It should be nothing but pulp by now. As you said, time works differently in the forest. It really does? Things that should be gone are still out there? Things and occasionally people. You know, I heard your mother the other night. Your house is close enough to the forest edge for me to listen in. She sent you to the room like a child, all because you spoke your mind. She doesn't like it when I talk about him like he's still alive. She says it's unhealthy. She doesn't get the real unhealthy behavior would be to give him up on him if there's still a chance he's out there somewhere. Is he? Is my dad out in the woods? Please just tell me. If he was, I could help you find him. I can't stand to see a family torn apart. You know he wasn't able to finish his last words to you before he choked on his own blood? But what he wanted to say was, thank God that you're alright. How do you know that? I'm connected to this place and everything in it. Living and dead and somewhere in between. Okay, fine. Please help me find him. I'll do anything. I require no payment besides the satisfaction of reuniting a family whenever you're ready. Tomorrow night. Putting this little bit on graham crackers and some jam. Oh, you should probably eat a little. No, you ate a little bit after your shot. Don't fucking lie. Oh, that sucks. Tell it not to do that. Tell Twitch to get good. Okay, so I think we do have the actual answer for who he was talking to. The guy's name is Carver. Sounds like he's a spirit in the woods? Not exactly sure what's going on there. I want to see if I can do any of these, like, really fast. Hold on. These I might actually be able to read. Can't translate at the same time. You know G. Oh, is she real? You know she is. Okay, that was an answer. Blair. Where to? Into the woods. And there's the Blair Witch. Yeah, good. Get good, Twitch. Where to? Into the woods, and there's a Blair Witch symbol. Okay. Sorry, this is actually... I'm actually having fun with this one cipher now that I've got it. Let's see where... I know there was a couple others on here. There we go. When it's overlaid, it's a little hard to do sometimes. Right. I know that's an M. Oh, this is so hard to read over this. Wood. Oh, do you fear the Blair Witch? You should. I can't read. What is it? Made, okay. Made of wood from the forest. Super natural. Probably. Oh, Prope. Proper. Supernatural properties. Okay. Sorry. I'm getting there. Okay. Take some pictures of the artifacts and declared. Okay. Made out of the wood with supernatural properties. Okay. How did you ever read this? Does this say it says boring. The presentation is boring. That's hilarious. And there's trees around this. Okay. This is just extra stuff, it looks like. Ooh. Even mention Dad, you didn't you didn't renovate anything. Oh, okay, so this is from Liam. Because his dad helped renovate that building. Oh, yes, it is a cool pin. It came with the first episode. Also, hello, Tasty. Yeah, it's a little UV pin. It actually writes in UV, too. It doesn't write actual ink, it actually writes the UV, which is kind of neat. I like it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. It's Juby. It's neat. Yeah, this is episode 2. This pin is from episode 1. You just have to keep using it, apparently. Okay, so, but I think we got the answer. I think this stuff is more... Yeah, it is super... I actually really enjoyed, most of the stuff that's out is from episode 2. Like, it's mostly papers that were from episode 1, but I kept the map out just in case for this. I actually got this, oh, you can see it very well. I got a little tooth bracelet with episode 1, and I've been wearing it since I got it. Also, I really like the pencil bag it came from. It's nice. I might use it. But I still think we found our answer. Oh, I forgot to read this. Hold on. I forgot to read this thing. I'm not... I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet. It was the... I mean, the butler at the Historical Society, maybe. But yeah. And the thing that was scratched on the, because apparently I can read this cipher now. The thing that was scratched was, I'm not finished yet. So we don't know who Carver is, but that's who he was talking to, so that is the answer for today's. So let's go ahead and go over to the website and see if we get another cool little audio. Because I bet we will. I'm gonna move my mic just a little bit. That's fine. I'll move it later. I mean, he kind of buttles for... Do you mean the killing part of the buttles, or... he buttles for the Historical Society. For sure. Go ahead. Widen this just a little bit. Aw, thank you. I appreciate your couch bits. Forrest Butler. I mean, it kind of feels like a Forrest Butler, doesn't it? Alright, what was the password? It was Quietly 5? Quietly 5. Oh, yeah, you're here for what might be actually the ending. But I'm glad you're back, Abs. Let's go ahead and... Okay, yep, this is all new stuff. Cool. Okay, so... Lanning called me yesterday for once. I think this is finally heard that I was going to... Yeah, the nerve to come. He told me it wasn't healthy for me to be chasing false hope. Nope, this is the stuff from last time. Okay. Is there any new good fences? I appreciate it, and I appreciate your love, Tasty, for I give you the love too. I'd give you more. Go on there. I'd give you more love if you didn't stream so late, but I am actually going to start being awake later, so I will hopefully get to watch more streams. Was neither friend nor foe. Sounds butlerish. I mean, yeah, okay. Carver is our butler. Okay. I think this is all... I think this is all the same as last time. Drinks out too. Yeah, we need to start keeping me awake at night. No one stepped foot in the Black Hills Forest. Lately, when I go on hikes in these woods, I notice the trees are different. They aren't in the same places I remember. I know those woods. I've been taking hikes there every Saturday. This is the same thing too, isn't it? Noisy gremlins. Time for some noisy gremlins. Searching for a reason where it might not exist. I think these were all here last time too. So she was hanging around the museum the other day, and she overheard Anthony Repino talking on the phone to someone about an investigator from out of town. Not sure what... Oh, okay, hold on. Oh no, this might be new. Hold on. This might be new. Noisy gremlins put it on a Wait, which one's going on a shirt? Gremlin time or noisy gremlins? And yes, it is gremlin time. I know them like the back of my hands, but lately it feels almost as if the trees move around when I'm not looking, and that the path I always follow never takes me to the place twice. Sounds to me like you're having a feud down at Patrick's before your hikes. Piss off, Alexander. I know what I'm saying. I believe you, Donnie. Something's wrong with those woods, and it has been for centuries. You know, I've had nightmares about them ever since I was a little girl. About lurking hairy creatures and trees whose branches carve into my skin like knives. I've been dreaming things like that since I was 5 years old, which was a long time before I ever heard any of the stories about the place. There's no earthly explanation for that. I was just out in the forest for the first time, fishing with my son, and he wouldn't stop begging me to leave. Said he saw a woman staring at us, but I didn't see a thing, so we moved downstream. After settling in a new spot, my son began screaming and crying. Again, he said he saw the same figure hanging from a tree, and every time I looked, there was nothing there. He's usually such a level-headed kid. I don't know if the woods are cursed, but I won't be going back. You're just searching for a reason where it might not exist. People have strange dreams when they're stressed out, or when they're sleep deprived, or when they eat something that doesn't entirely agree with them before bed. I don't think the Black Hills Forest is wicked or cursed or anything like that. Then how do you explain the trees? How do you explain that missing kid? You know my cousin Michelle? She was hanging around the History Museum the other day, and she overheard Anthony Repino talking on the phone to someone about an investigator from out of town. Not sure what he meant by that, maybe FBI? Finding new evidence that proved Liam was hanging out in the History Museum before he disappeared. Apparently, he sounded pretty upset. I don't know why Sheriff Lanning hasn't brought him in for further questioning. Probably because it's a lost cause. That boy has been gone for months. There is no point in questioning anybody anymore. No, these symbols are sigils. I'm telling you all, it's the witch. Both is good. More shirt. I do need to make more shirts, though. I need to start doing that. Okay. And tick line. Message. And Carver. Alright. Let's see if this was it. I paused this, right? Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. We got it right, guys. Ready for some audio?
Carver? Liam was talking with someone who called himself Carver. I recognize the name.
Oh man, she does not sound good.
Something like 20 years ago, a boy was taken into the forest. Or maybe he wandered in. I don't know. When they sent people out to look for him, they found all kinds of strange carvings on the trunks of trees. People in town started to call whoever left those markings the Carver, and the name stuck. God, I wish Jess were here. Or that I could get her on the phone for more than 5 minutes. She never understood why I stayed in this town. I guess I understand where she was coming from.
Well, no, they said 20 years ago. That's not the same kid.
Complete and utter son of a bitch. Maybe. We're clearly dealing with someone twisted. I mean, who knows what he's done to Liam, or what he could still be doing. You know, if I think about that, I'm gonna lose it. You know what? This will help us get the search parties going again. Sheriff Lanning has a personal stake in this now. When his uncle was sheriff in the 90s, he oversaw the Carver case. I'm going to call Lanning's office right now, and then we're going to round up anyone who will follow me into the forest. I'm going to go back in there, and I'm going to find Carver. And when I do, I'm going to make him feel the same misery and pain that he's put my family through.
Well then. Alright, guys. We did it. Yeah, carve up the carver. We solved episode 2. Which was mostly done through. This one was a little bit shorter. So hopefully the next time won't have, the as much cipher work. Yep, ding dong, box is done. So until next month. But thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. You all hanging around while we solve this out. And next month we'll do episode 3. Not sure what the schedule is going to be this week, but I am going to try to return to doing narrations at night. So that's just like an hour every evening with some reading. So hopefully you will join me for that. Until then, though, thank you all for stopping by and hanging out while we figured out the second box. Everyone have a good one and take care. Bye.